Okay, so Andresvieira and rauldiaz, the team leaders from Miami Real Group, sent over some info on this Upland Park project, and well, it's something else.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, it's a pretty huge development going up in West Miami-Dade, and they're calling it, get this, $1 billion transit-oriented development.
Wow. Ambitious.
Right. The whole thing is supposed to be built around the dolphin station that's already there.
Okay.
We're talking 47 acres, something like 2,000 apartments planned, shops, offices. They even want to put a school in there.
A whole self-contained community then.
Yeah, exactly. Like a mini neighborhood built from scratch. And all with the idea that you won't even need a car to live there.
Interesting. Well, the developer is Terra Group, and their CEO, David Martin, he's got this whole vision about creating more balanced communities, places where everything's connected,
Yeah, that's what they're going for. And
Yeah.
Miami-Dade's actually had some success with these transit-oriented developments, haven't they? TODs, as they call them.
Oh, absolutely. Especially around the metro rail stations. They've really helped give people more housing choices and got more folks using public transit.
So this is kind of building on that success then.
You'd think so, but Upland Park, see, it's not near Metro Rail. It's all tied into that 836 Express bus line.
I see.
And that's where things get tricky because the ridership on those buses, it's way lower. So it's kind of a risky bet,
Yeah.
Trying to make a transit-oriented thing work when the transit itself isn't all that popular yet.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
And the location itself, honestly, it doesn't seem ideal if we're talking about ditching cars. I mean, it's stuck between highways, there's a busy road separating it from everything else, and it's surrounded by those big box stores.
Yeah, not exactly what you picture when you think walkable city, right? The developers are trying to make it pedestrian-friendly within the project itself, lots of green spaces, that kind of thing. But getting people to walk or bike to places outside of Upland Park, that's a whole other challenge. And speaking of challenges, they're planning over 1,400 parking spaces just for the first phase of construction.
Hold on, over 1,400 parking spots. But I thought the whole point was to get people out of their cars.
Well, yeah, that's the ideal. But the reality is they got to get people to actually live there first. And that's probably why they've got so much parking. The lenders, the folks putting up the money, they want to see that this thing can succeed. Even if the area isn't exactly a transit paradise right now, they're hoping people will still move in if they've got a place to park their cars. The county's kind of banking on this idea that Upland Park will actually create the demand for better transit down the line.
So it'll drive up ridership enough that they can improve the 836 Express, maybe even get some bus rapid transit or light rail going.
Exactly. Bus rapid transit, it's kind of like light rail, but with buses. They have dedicated lanes, fewer stops, so everything moves faster and it's more reliable.
Ah, okay, like a light rail system on wheels. I get it.
Yep, that's the idea.
So they're kind of taking a gamble then, hoping that people's habits will shift over time.
Exactly. And another big question is, who's going to be able to afford to live in this place? Because Andres and Raul, they didn't mention anything about income-restricted units in the info they sent.
Yeah, is this going to be another one of those luxury developments that's only for, the wealthy folks?
Well, Terra Group is saying that they want to keep rents accessible. They're aiming for people who earn up to 120% of the county's median income. So that comes out to about $79,400 a year. They call it workforce housing, the idea being that teachers, nurses, firefighters, those essential workers can afford to live near where they work.
Right.
But without any actual affordable units set aside, there's no guarantee those rents will stay within reach,
Yeah, for sure. So it's a trade-off. No guarantees affordable housing, but by building densely, they're at least adding to the overall housing supply.
Right, which could help ease that housing crunch we've got. Plus, the county's getting lease payments from Terra Group, so they're making money off this deal.
Makes sense.
But what I really find interesting is how they're planning to change things up in the later phases of construction. They actually want to increase the density and reduce the parking even more.
Wow, really?
Yeah, they're going all in on this car light philosophy, prioritizing walking, biking, and public transit over personal cars. It's a trend that's gaining traction in a lot of cities, trying to make things more sustainable and, just more livable.
Yeah, definitely seeing that more and more, especially with all the traffic and, the whole climate change thing.
Exactly. And if Upland Park actually pulls this off, if they can create a real transit-oriented community in a place that's so car-dependent right now, it could be a model for other suburban TODs all over the country. It could show everyone that you can move away from this car-centric way of building things, even in places where it seems impossible.
So just to sum up what andresvieira and rauldiaz sent us, This Upland Park thing is a pretty bold move, a real experiment with high stakes. They're trying to build a community centered around transit in a place designed for cars. It's a gamble on the future of transit, a bet that people's habits can actually change.
And don't forget, it's a test to see if a developer can really create affordable, accessible housing in a desirable area, without just catering to the wealthy.
Exactly. Will it work? Who knows? Only time will tell.
As per Andres Vieira, Miami is the best place on earth. And projects like Upland Park, they're going to shape what Miami becomes down the line. Will it embrace sustainable growth? Will it prioritize the needs of all its residents, or just keep catering to cars and making inequality worse?
That's a big question, and it goes way beyond just this one development. It's something cities all over the world are wrestling with.
Exactly. It's a challenge, for sure.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Absolutely.